Hi, my name's Paul Wilson. I'm the creator of Swing Machine Golf and the director of the Paul Wilson Golf School at Bears Best Las Vegas. In this tip, I want to talk about why you would be getting a sore back when you go to play golf. Now, in a proper golf swing, your back really shouldn't be hurting you at all. So if you're getting a sore back, there's something wrong in your golf swing. Now, I'm going to go through a few different things. Hopefully you can recognize what you're doing and then work on solving the problem. Okay, so the first thing that would give you a sore back is doing what's called a reverse pivot or a reverse weight shift. Now, what that is you being in a position where you're not loading properly into your back leg. So when you look at your setup position, you've got your legs in your proper width of stance. Now, as we go into our backswing, we want to allow our head to be moving into this back leg. That's going to allow us to load the weight on this side of our golf swing, and it'll be allowing us to be in a position where we're not compressing our lower back as we get to the top of the backswing. So a reverse pivot would be when you try to keep your head too still and you're not properly rotating into the backswing. So that would look like this. As you get to the top, you're keeping your head over the ball, and in that process, your body is angling this way as you get to the top. So that's putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. Now from this position here, you're going to go here as you come down. So we're actually moving kind of like a seesaw instead of like a helicopter. Okay, just as an easy way to understand it. So if you're going like this from here to here, like already I can feel that in my lower back because I've got a bad lower back, and doing that move is causing me to move sideways instead of in a circular motion. So we don't want to be in a situation where we're doing a reverse pivot. Okay, we want to allow our head to be moving as we take the golf club back. Now, I've done a tip on that in the past. So ideally, we want our nose moving over the right instep at the very top of the backswing. So for you, if you're keeping your head too still, what you want to do is you want to get this head moving, but in that process, it's going to feel like you're moving your head about a foot to get it to move about 3 inches. So ideally, we want to be moving our head about 3 inches as we hit the top of the backswing. That'll put our nose over the instep and allow us to feel the weight loaded solidly into that back leg. From here, this loaded position, we can then use our lower body to hit the ball and get into a position where we're more vertical over this forward leg instead of hanging back. So from right here, you're going to get a lot of pressure in that lower back, and that's what's going to cause you a lot of pain. Okay, so we want to be allowing our head to move back, and then it'll move forward if we use our lower body correctly, and then we get to this more vertical position into the follow-through. Okay, so that's probably the number one reason why people have a lower back, a sore lower back. The next reason is that people are trying to look at the ball for too long. So what I'm getting at is if you've been topping the golf ball or hitting a lot of thin shots, what you've probably done in your learning process is you've been looking at the ball for far too long. So what I'm getting at is you've probably practiced a drill where you've been going like this, you're staring at the ball, and then you try to hit the ball keeping your eye right on this spot. And as you can see right there, I can't fully get through that golf shot because this is very restrictive on my body. Even right there, I can feel it in my lower back, and that's going to create that soreness. Now, it's a good thing to be watching here because you don't want to be coming out of it, otherwise you're definitely going to be topping the ball. But if you hold the position too long, that's when you're going to get too angled into your follow-through position. So if I do it towards the camera here, if we're going like this and we're looking at this spot, you're going to be too tilted into your follow-through. Some people have actually done it so long, they can actually get right through to the follow-through position, but they kind of look like this. They're too angled here when they're finished. And even right there, I can feel it right here in my lower back, right on this side. Okay, so we don't want to be too tilted when we're finished. We do want to be on an angle, but it's a slight angle. When you go to hit the golf ball, you'll be holding this angle until this back arm is parallel to the ground. From here, we're going to continue the rotation, and in that process, I stand up a little bit to relieve the pressure on my lower back. So you can see my club is on a slight angle, it's not on a severe angle. Okay, so I do see that from time to time that people get into this position where they're too tilted. So just remember that the golf club's going to swing through. You're going to be looking at the ball and keeping your spine angle until this point, but from there you can then turn to look at your ball through eyes that are slightly tilted, not severely tilted. Okay, so you could just be working on that towards a mirror. So get a mirror right here, do some practice swings, and just watch your eyes as you go to hit the golf ball into the follow through. So you don't want to be level and you don't want to be too tilted. Okay, it's just a slight tilt with your eyes, and then you'll be on the right angle, and that'll relieve that back pressure. Okay, so that's another reason people get a sore back. Another one is just from not using the lower body properly. So what I'm getting at is, when people go to hit the golf ball, they are just basically keeping their lower body very still or stable through impact. So they're not really trying to make a weight shift over to this forward leg. So they kind of look like this, and their lower body is basically still facing this way, but the upper body has turned after they've hit the shot. So right there, I can already feel pressure in my lower back, and that's not going to be a real good position. Okay, so we want to allow our lower body to be used properly, and we're going to do that by getting the weight off of this back foot as we swing through to the follow-through position. In that process, our body will be ahead of, our lower body will be ahead of the upper body, and then we'll get to this vertical position when we're finished. So if that's you, what you want to do is recognize if in fact your back foot is planted at impact. Okay, if you're flat-footed at impact, your body will get through it, and your lower body will be facing too much forward while your upper body's starting to turn. You may lift the heel a little bit at the very end, but you never get to a position where you're fully on the very tip of this toe. So for you, I'd probably be working on my touch the legs position, allowing the forward leg to lock straight, this leg to come around and physically touch it, and in that process of touching, you end up on the very tip of your toe. And this would be like the same movement as throwing a ball. If you're going to throw a ball, you would get all the weight over on the forward leg. You'd end up on the very tip of this back foot. So in a situation like that, you would be using the lower body correctly, and that's the same motion we're trying to get incorporated into our golf swing. So for you, I'd probably be doing lots of practice swings, trying to do the touching of the legs position. I showed a drill a while back where you can just put your hand on your golf club like this and use that to brace yourself while you're working on it. Another way you can do it is to be lifting the tip of the, lifting this foot off the ground into your follow-through position. So you go through like this and then just lift your toe off the ground. The only way you're going to lift your toe off the ground is if the weight's off of this back leg. Okay, so if you're hanging back and stuck on this back foot, there's no way you're going to be in this same position. Okay, and that's what's going to compress your lower body, and you're going to get a sore back. Okay, so the final thing that causes lower back issues is using your lower body too hard. Now, a lot of people out there are working on trying to use their lower body, which is a good thing, but they've never really done it before. So their back gets a little sore. Now, that is actually a good thing in the sense that you're actually starting to use your lower body, but you don't want to be doing it too hard, okay? You've never really done this before. You've never worked on firing your lower body to any degree in your golf swing. So it's a new feeling, and there's definitely a rotary motion there that you're not going to be used to. So you don't want to be starting off trying to drive this lower body too hard. Now, I know that I've talked a lot about using your lower body when you hit the golf ball, which is definitely what you want to be doing, but you can't start running before you can crawl, okay? You want to start off slowly with this stuff, get good at it, and then gradually increase the speed at which you fire the lower body. Okay, so if your back is sore and you're actually firing your lower body, you'll be able to tell you're doing that because your ball should be going straight. If you're pulling it, pull hooking it, or pull slicing it, or even push slicing it, you're definitely in a position where you're hitting it with your hands and arms instead of using your lower body. So if you're hitting the ball pretty darn straight from a square alignment, you're getting a bit of a sore back because you've been working on firing this lower body, then for you, you're going too fast. So just slow down a little bit, gradually get used to it, and then as you get better at it, you can increase the speed at which you're firing the lower body, and then your back's not going to be sore as you do it. Okay? So those are a few of the problems that are associated with getting a sore back. Reverse pivot, that's going this way, sideways instead of circular. Okay? That's going to compress your lower body. Watching the ball too long. Yes, it's a good thing to watch the ball as you hit the ball, but after you've hit the ball's gone. So you don't have to hold this position forever. Just make sure you start to turn and watch your ball fly through the air on a slight angle, not a severe angle. Next one is keeping your lower body too stuck. Okay, you're stuck. You're not using your lower body, so you're swinging through with your lower body still flat-footed, and your lower body's going to be pointing this way while your upper body's pointing that way. So that's going to create back issues as well. And the final one was going way too fast at firing the lower body. So just gradually build up, and then you'll get used to it. I truly hope you've enjoyed this tip. If you'd like to watch more of my tips just like this one, please click the link in or below this video or visit ignitiongolf.com.